Oh, maybe.
Without meditation, I mean, you're not accumulating that. Whatever you're accumulating is gone. You're not putting in the brain. So, you do that. So, you can do it. Well, meditation is very important. And very important. Very important. And meditation is always do that. And that, this one is so no, the whole life is that all that. You really over? Every day, 2 hours. I have to go to work too. No, I have to go to work. No, and then all the meditation, accumulation, you finish.
Bảy ngày mình im chưa tiếp qua. Sao cho để cái cúng này này hả? Cúng bread nằm trong đây đó. Cái này ta chạm nó nằm trong đây nè.
We are online. Yeah? Yeah. So go. Yeah, you're online now.
No. Oh, 109. 109. No, not all. Not all. It's from here.
Stop.
Yeah, it's going. Now it's posting, so later you guys can see. This one. It's working. Correct. Yeah. I can show you the link. I'll find it.
That's it. And then thì mình phải
Okay,
lấy
so
cái copy này.
to skip this. Okay, you do these two, you can skip that one and you go.
Oh, really?
But you can check.
Cái thì là một cái cuộc cái copy nó không
They have, they should have. Everything.
at the end thì ra là cái thì nó có cái đoạn luôn.
Doing all the auspicious, that's also dedication. But the first one we have in monthly is day one again to do some line. That's the dedication.
Nói gì cao rệt.
Day one like that.
Oh, we're live. Okay, good. But I have it on the phone.
Okay, good.
You post on the Facebook.
Yeah.
So I post the video.
Can you
online.
cut?
No, now you're online. Later,
You cut.
you can. I send you the link. Do you have iPad?
Yeah.
I'll show you.
After nè.
I'll show you now. You can do later. So you can watch the video later. You can send to me.
Yeah. Password là 1600. 1600 and then you can. We're here to.
You want to say this one?
G.
Oh, I can.
Yeah. And then you can.
Okay.
Đây, Google, right? You go Google. Can you go to Google?
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can just.
Send the link to my email. Right?
Yeah, then we
That is the video.
It's not. Yeah, Google your.
Là cái câu ngắn Nhật Xuân chú nào nữa hả? Là cái tiếng Việt nghĩa là gì vậy? Tôi xin nguyện hồi diễn tất cả các nước này đến những bà mẹ và tất cả mọi người và sáu cõi luân hồi, thấy không? Cái việc mình là cái câu ngắn nhất là chú vậy đó hả? Đơn giản vậy thôi. I see. Để lát hơn nguyên biểu này là bây giờ.
Later, I'll email you.
98. Nhớ sang.
La mandang gumbo jangar yang la janzan Gange lonjen jenyen jenja nindara nanda raza Jenyen dengen jejen sejen yejen dogan lekam zen Kanda sebe zendara mali mendom domai jisen Rozo kenla bujin daze yanla jojo yangden zon jodare jejo nyemoyin leje jado doze mare menze domay nyamgo jenye jenze raje dene najin saje taze yenden zon jasin duvengo chadra chad chunyen jende dale menzen jambe Mara Bhajana Dev, 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 Zende Je Chara Zenje Dale Demon Bharazan Kadan Denje Junlo Dombai Lonje Pobe Nawan Zandozo Lonje Jimor Nanjimor Janda Katintono Majeba Palo Jinja Jinja Beja Jinda Jima Mebalam Buera Dende Dengo Zungu Vajime Mone Janda Jinja Jiva Shiva Nzara Damje Dadu Jinja Zunza Banze Duzum Mangeja Zunza Mangeja Zunza Mangeja Sembeze Zendumbar Vendugum Nigenda Zenja Zunja Damakan Injurin Jidan Zunja Banjabe Tuambe Mongar Beja Rindole Inzurajon Jinzorin Dumbo Zerenjeve Nandorajan Jibu Zenzobeje Denjombarbe Pemanjone Dale Inzurajon Jirezem Pemangaran Jebonji Shunga Sudurman Benjazasa Kadrila Mananjin Daijon Guburu Yandevanda Tomenyin Cholan Jijinda Jijan Nimbawasa Lamninjin Cholanjin Daijon Wanda Devaranjin Bego Yendenganjunga Vijazadu Nimbidesi Binanjurba Mevezir Shajin Daijon Rizanjimba Shunujinale Bombelone Bobedenjidon Jinjanzangawanjur Nikom Jambe Anjin Daijon Guru Chinyin Baminda Jeshiza Punjaranjun Tujijibijin Vijikala Kamenda Nawa Padin Lame Shajin Daijon Yende Sanjay Kundanyan Naya Kadin Sanjay Kunin Habigun Sari Lame Shala Zoande Azundu Lamnan Chela Anjur Konda Chichu Tongbi Jitena Dishelo Marjiva Kansuda Tende Tambi Chijin Chabebe Symbol Devanadan Deji Namoria Tamba Loegedan Ludan Jingen Dubandan Meganandan Dua Gunjetanam Jizambar Tamjegedu Suzurun Tejurunji Majur Nagi Tadanya Besanjay Tamje Namdu Jideval Anamego Yandabra Zobi Sanjay Jim Pumaran Burchela Chini Jangu Brasha Dei Chedu Eba Chimbe Shungu Tanjusin Buchebalan Juba Benin Sujin du Sen Namsolama Yu Namdu Samba Chanju Chodu Kujabalan Chedu Sensai. So as usual that generating Bodhicharyavatara in this way, starting from the one's own mother and looking everybody as the same as a one's mother who is being kind, and that whoever, and also another way, whoever been kind for you, and you can put that as an object for you to generate bodhicitta, and looking that object and what do you say, having a sense of having a same that sense to every sentient beings, starting from the person who ever been so kind for you. So normally in this world, and generally there's no any more great kind have been to oneself the same. And in order to pay kind back, uh, paying kind through the worldly way, it's very temporary. So therefore, uh, now we are trying to pay kind back in a little bit different way than the normal worldly way. So therefore, we are trying to pay kind back to her and like her to every single beings through the spiritual way, which is ultimate goal is to lead them complete enlightenment. So in order to do that, and I'm going to study, learning, listening and learning this Mahayana Sutras at Bodhicharyavatara, and whatever I understand, I will going to put into my practice in my daily life. So with that kind of purpose, listen this teaching. And then the actual teaching now we have been finished until, isn't it 8 stanza? We are in the 9th stanza, right? Are we? Where are we? Where are we? It's the 9th stanza, you see? Okay, so last time teachings that Shantideva explaining that before he start explaining the potential or the benefit of bodhicitta, so he expressed it to us that in order to have the bodhicitta within oneself and what kind of support the physical body we need it as generally human and particularly adorned with the 18 qualities, that kind of human beings, the precious, normally we call precious human being, is the physical support which we needed. And then the mental support, that mental requirement, and as he explained it, that kind of like a, he explained it that with the example of the in the dark black with clouds, the sudden lightened such a kind mind that kind of naturally some kind of like things, that kind of thought we may raise sometimes. And in order to have bodhicitta within oneself and that kind of positive mind, it's also required that he explain it. And after that, and he's starting explaining about the potential or the benefit of bodhicitta. And stanza number 6 and stanza number 7 and stanza number 8, that these are all he explaining this potential or the beneficial of this bodhicitta is something extraordinary merit that which we can accumulate it by just having that mind within oneself, within this 3 stanza. And then now this is stanza number 9. Then he's further he is explaining that further he's explaining is like, now this stanza number 9, that basically this stanza number 9 he's introducing us that what do you call that? Changing name and changing kind of like a meaning. It is a little bit strange to say here when we translate it here. In Tibetan, we say this Mingden Negro, Minga Ten Negro, that what do you call it? Transforming, yes, transforming the name, benefit of transforming name, which is kind of like a title, the transforming one's title, status, like a kind of like a transforming one's own status, transforming one. The name is kind of like that, transforming name and transforming the meaning, which is kind of like, I think it's better to use like this, transforming the, what can I say about this? Name, actually this turn is referring, he's referring that it is saying that whoever has that bodhicitta within themselves, and they also such a kind of like a transforming their kind of like a value, that's the meaning, transforming the meaning and transforming the name. Name is kind of like a status, title or the status. And these are the kind of like even these are because of we can transform our status and we can transform our value by having that bodhicitta. That's the kind of like a benefit of having that bodhicitta. As he's saying, should bodhicitta come to birth in those who suffer chained in prison of samsara, in that instant they are called the children of the blissful one. That's the one. That's the third stanza is exactly, third line is exactly, it is saying the transforming the name, the transforming the title. The person whoever raised bodhicitta within themselves, in that instant, they are called the children of the blissful one. The children of the blissful one. Isn't it now the children of the blissful one? What does it mean, children of the blissful one? Actually, it is saying in our Tibetan word, it is saying, Chanju semge yurna kechi khurvi tsonar dambi nyantolam deshig namji seshi jujate jiden hami chebe chaja jurush. That first two lines, it is saying, as soon as within somebody, when they raise the bodhicitta, Chanju semge yurna kechi, even though that person is bind in a samsara and contained with the all kind of afflictive emotions, that as soon as the bodhicitta raised within themselves, that from that very moment, and even though he or she is contaminated or contained with all this kind of like afflictive emotions and the kind of like the what do you call it, defeat of samsara whatsoever, that person, since then, they transforming their name, their title, or their status, that even though that person can call the prince, the son, the son of the Buddhas. Blissful one means the son of the Buddhas. Actually, here that son of the Buddha, in a common way, is also like this. Is a little bit makes sense that when we actually in ancient times, that son or daughter whatsoever, mostly son, that has to follow their father's kind of like a business or whatsoever. He has to continue, right? He has to continue. Therefore, that son or daughter has to follow their own parent, whatever they are doing. And when they follow their parent, and then parent also 100% supporting the son or the daughter, their own son or the daughter, which means son, the parent is ready for you, right? Whatever you struggle, that parent is number one behind you to protect and support, and whatsoever he or she can do for you. Nowadays, I don't know, but still we have that parents, they are taking that responsibility for their son and daughter. They are doing whatever they could. In the same way here, so that sense, we have to imagine this benefit with that with that sense. We have to imagine this benefit, what Shanditya was talking about, this, with that imagine being a son or the daughter of the parent, and son or the parent, either mother or father, it's kind of like a behind you 100% to protect you. Likewise, that now Buddha, that since you become son of the Buddha, and Buddha is just like your parent, that he or she is right behind you to 100% to protect you, to support you. That is the main beneficial of the transforming the status, transforming the kind of like our title. Even though that person is kind of like have all this samsaric defeat within themselves, such as all these afflictive emotions, anger, hatred, greed, and pride, jealousy, whatsoever. And as soon as they raise that bodhicitta from their own, then their status will be changed, will be transformed into the son of the blissful one. Which means, yes, definitely, as I said earlier, that example, we have to imagine this benefit with this our own parent, that being the daughter of the parent, and the parent is 100% behind you. Likewise, Buddha is also like that. And the the son or the daughter, but son or the daughter has to follow their parents' kind of like I don't know what do you call it. Their rules. Their rules, or they are kind of like in ancients they do that. If the father is kind of like a fisher, then you have to be fisher. If the father is businessman, you have to be businessman, selling things, kind of like that kind of things, you know. Then now here, that when we generating bodhicitta within oneself, yeah, then exactly that we are doing what father did before. The Shakyamuni Buddha, what he did before, then we are trying to following like his rule. That's not really rule, right?
There's a saying, no, it's not rule. Follow in your father's footsteps.
Father's footsteps, yes. And even in a worldly way too, when you follow the father's footstep, and father will 100% protect you. He will be 100% behind you, right? And if you not follow the father's step, then I don't know, maybe father is not 100%. But it's still, parent is like 100% there. Still, that is very, you have such a very power that can you can kind of like convince them to even support you, even you are not following their footstep, but you have that power to convince them to support you 100%. I've seen this many parents, right? But maybe some parents is not like that. Maybe if you don't follow their footstep, then they will ignore. Might be they are possible, but as long as the son or the daughter following their footstep, then parent doesn't have any obligation to 100% support and protect, whichever way, whatever they can do for you. So likewise here, also like that the children of the blissful one. When you become a children of the blissful one, which means that children of the blissful one only becomes when you raise the Bodhicitta within your own self. And this is now really, it is not like you are not following the father's footstep, but still you are born in that parent. So you are just belongs to that family. But in this children of the blissful one, it's not like that. Once you give up, you are out of family. There's no normal way of connection, right? Normal way of giving birth. It is not giving birth like that. Kind of like a mother delivering.